time.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Underestimated Podcast. It's your host, Jeremy, back with another episode. In this episode, Super Bowl LX is set. Y'all see the hat. The Seahawks are back in the Super Bowl after 12, 13 long, hard years. It's been a long time. I was literally on the brink of tears last night, just as I was 13 years ago when Malcolm Butler intercepts the pass from Russell Wilson at the goal line, when you literally have one of the best, if not the best, running back at the time in the league, and Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, and you do not hand it off to him to give him, the opportunity to end that game. And, I was telling someone this morning who's actually a Seahawks fan, we were talking about it, and I'm telling him, I understand from the standpoint of, you kind of want the game to end on your terms. You want the ball in your hands, as a competitor, as a leader. And from a confidence standpoint, you want the ball in your hands. But a great quarterback, still would understand that even if coach told me to throw that ball, even if Pete Carroll is telling me this is a pass play, I'm waving it off and I'm telling him, hey, I'm giving this ball to Marshawn Lynch. His name is Beast Mode for a reason. I'm giving him the ball. But I understand it for all things considered. But the rematch is set. Patriots, Seahawks. Super Bowl LX. Man, I can't wait. I think that's February the 8th. So this is the preview. Obviously, it says in the title, my preview and prediction. I think we obviously know what direction I'm leaning toward in terms of who I'm picking to win this. But I'm going to try to anchor this with the least amount of bias as possible. But there's only so much I can do when, one of my favorite teams is being incorporated in the topic of discussion. Man, it has been an extremely long day. Had class this morning. Actually had two classes. So I had class at 9:50. Got out at 11:05. Went back to the room to eat some breakfast around 11:30. Had to come back to class at 12:40. Excuse me, and I got out at about 2. Then kind of just lollygagged because, man, anyone can understand that, when it's cold and windy and gloomy, all you want to do is just lay in bed. I was once told a while ago that you're not supposed to let the weather dictate your mood. I have a hard time fighting that. And today was just one of those days. I had to drag myself to the gym because I did not want to go, and I don't have any workout equipment with me to give myself the opportunity to stay back in the room and just work out in the room. And I'm someone who's constantly working on that self-discipline, and I drag myself there. And then obviously I planned on getting this out a little bit sooner, but as long as it gets out the day of, I'm satisfied to a certain degree. So let's dive in. The rematch of. So this is the rematch of Super Bowl LIX, or is it LXI? XLIX. Sorry. And I think we got it this time. I think, what concerns me, and I'm saying if I'm a Patriots fan, is so in the AFC Championship, you got I think it's going to be the runner up for league MVP and Drake May, who throws for less than 100 yards, and you only score 10 points as a team. Scoring 10 points as a team in the AFC Championship is very suspect. And then we score 30 points in the NFC Championship. I just think we're going to run circles around them, and it's going to be an easy blowout for us. Sam Darnold, I've never been more proud of Sam Darnold like I was last night. I've had a very bipolar mindset towards Sam Darnold this entire season, and now I have no reason but to believe in him. Because once you're used to, obviously once you gain fandom in a certain team, for whatever reason it may be, the players on that team have somewhat of an involvement in that, right? So obviously the main thing that caught my eye when I first started watching the Seahawks was the Legion of Boom. Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Michael Bennett. I feel like I'm missing some guys. Anyway, but of course, at that point in time, Russell Wilson was the quarterback. And, I was always proud of saying Russell Wilson is the quarterback for my football team. And then when Russ leaves, I'm like, oh my God. I was honestly on the brink of becoming a Bengals fan. Because if anybody knows me, knows how much I love Joe Burrow. And I was like, if I'm going to be proud and anyone else being the quarterback of my football team, it's going to be Joe Burrow. But I decided to stay loyal and stick with the Seahawks. Obviously, the Geno Smith years were disappointing and underperforming. But we move on, and we get Sam Darnold, fresh off of a 14-3 season where he comes in as the backup, having to step in for J.J. McCarthy, who goes down with I believe it was a torn Achilles. And then he goes 14. Well, he doesn't go 14. Or did he go 14-3? I think he went 14-3. And then he comes in this year and goes 14-3, which I think, Sam obviously became the first person, not the first person, but maybe the second or third quarterback in NFL history to win 14 games as the starting quarterback for two separate organizations, and to do it in back-to-back seasons at that is insane. And it's just, he's got to get this done, because I'm telling y'all now in advance, there will be a Sam Darnold comeback stories segment or episode, when I feel like this is going to be when we win the Super Bowl, because it's too great of a story to kind of just let bypass. And so, yeah, I think this is still nonetheless going to be a great game. I think Drake May, if he did any sort of scouting, and I'm not going to watch film heading into the Super Bowl game, he is going to be of the mindset that, yeah, while they have a great defense over there, we got an even better defense. And the Broncos defense is pretty elite as well. But I think we got the best offense and defense in the league. Well, no, I digress. Maybe not the best offense, but I know for sure we got the best defense. And I was thinking, what points could I come on here and make about why we should win? I think our defense is going to win it for us. Sam Darnold threw for over 300 yards and no interceptions. And that was I had a very tough time with that mindset with Sam Darnold this year. Like going into a game watching it, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like I know he's going to give me 3 touchdowns this game, but I also feel like I know he's going to give me a interception as well. And he did not throw an interception last night when it matters the most. The whole seeing ghost narrative, and I mean, I had to deal with that too. I remember a game this season, we all know. Sam Darnold threw 4 picks, and I think that was against, was it the Rams? I think it was the Rams. I mean, we only lost by 2 points. The most heartbreaking but yet promising game I have probably ever seen, because yes, I am irate that my quarterback just threw 3-4 picks in a singular NFL game, but at the same time, my defense is that good to the point where my quarterback can do something like that and yet still only lose by like a field goal. And so that gives me extreme hope. Now, one thing that did kind of come to my mind was the playoff experience. But in this particular case, Drake May and Sam Darnold pretty much have an equivalent in terms of playoff experience. I mean, yeah, Sam Darnold's been the backup on teams that made the playoffs. Of course, he had to play in the playoffs last season as a Minnesota Viking. Nonetheless, does not have a playoff win up until this coming, postseason, where he just absolutely goes ballistic, and now we are in the Super Bowl. Like, man, y'all just don't understand how good this feels. I've been raving about it all day long. Just still trying to remember, like, it's not a dream. It's real. I'm so excited. I actually ordered me some gear last night to wear on Super Bowl Sunday. So we're gonna be dripped out in that navy and that green. So I mean, this is just gonna be great. As much as I would like for it to be a high scoring game, I don't know if it's gonna be that. I'm thinking maybe this might be wild to some people, but if I had to give a score prediction where I'm feeling right now, what feels right in this very moment, I'm gonna say 35-17 Seahawks. Yeah, this is the rematch, and we're gonna handle business this time, because there is no Pete Carroll. It's Mike McDonald. There is no Russell Wilson. It is Sam Darnold. There is no Marshawn Lynch. It's Kenneth Walker III. And super proud of him last night. Him and Zach Charbonnet and George Holani, a rookie, showing up last night in a pivotal playoff game. So, I mean, I'm looking at all of this. I'm just like, we got all the bells and whistles to go get this thing done. And honestly, like, if we're able to keep this core together, honestly, I think, Cooper Kupp's games are numbered. But when you look at guys like Jake Bobo, who I got belief in that I was watching and became a fan of when he was playing at Duke, because y'all know I support Duke in every single sport. And then you're talking about a guy like, Torrey Horton. I don't understand how much I believe in Torrey Horton. Like, so if and when, Cooper Kupp retires or whatever, I have full confidence in Torrey Horton filling in that spot. I'm so glad we picked him up. Like, that was a steal for us in the draft. And then Rashid Shaheed, I just think we got all things in our favor to win this game. And, I mean, we're at a neutral site, so obviously that plays a factor. But
Do you want this?
nonetheless, I think we'll be fine. Talking about two teams that are both top 10, top 5 in both offense and defense, which I mean, obviously is not surprising because that's what you would more than likely expect of two teams that are in the Super Bowl. But I think, it's a lot of things that we got to do. Like, I think in terms of our defense, I mean, of course, everybody got to be on their toes and be ready for anything that they throw out or throw at us. But I think we have to make them run the ball. Because when Drake May lets it rip, man, it might be a long game if he gets going early. Because you're talking about Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, and then, I believe Hunter Henry. So that passing game is elite. And don't get me wrong, Ramondre Stevenson is also elite. But I would rather Ramondre Stevenson try to beat us by himself or like carry them as opposed to letting, being comfortable with letting Drake May letting it rip. And then, now we're sort of ends up in a shootout. And, I don't think you want to be in a shootout with a guy this young who is also a top 3 candidate for MVP honors. I just think we're going to be too much for them. I mean, Sam, K9, JSN balled out yesterday. I mean, he's been balling all season, and I mean, he should be Offensive Player of the Year. But, man, I just don't think, now, granted, Gonzo, Christian Gonzalez is real. He is legit. So it's definitely going to be fun and interesting to see him and JSN go at it all night long. But I think JSN got him. But then again, like, nonetheless, even if Christian Gonzalez does find a way to neutralize JSN to a certain degree, he can't neutralize JSN, Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton, Rashid Shaheed, and Jake Bobo. Not to mention Elijah Arroyo as well. And I actually saw a graphic yesterday. I think it was shortly after we won the NFC Championship where it was like a comparison of the MOB, that's what they call the new defense, aka the dark side, in comparison to the numbers from when the Legion of Boom was at, its highest point. And some stats were nearly identical. And I actually think statistically, that the numbers now are better. I could be wrong. I will say I think that the defense that we have now may have a couple of more well-known players, but I still think from a dominant standpoint, the Legion of Boom was just like, yeah, the dark side is great. Like the dark side is phenomenal, but in terms of dominance, I don't think they are as dominating as the Legion of Boom was. And it's going to be interesting to see how quickly and if we can rattle Drake May. Because one thing I can't give him, for a young quarterback, he usually stays pretty poised. And you don't really rattle him. And that's something that you don't really see in young quarterbacks. They're more than likely looked at as easier to rattle. Drake May doesn't really get rattled. So it's going to be interesting to see how long he's able to mentally sustain himself in this game. But I mean, the quicker we can run away with it, the more dangerous things can get along the way. And so yeah, I'm super excited for the game. I'm just super happy to be back in the bowl. The Hawks are going bowling. We going bowling, baby. This is probably gonna be a Super Bowl where I'm literally just gonna be like watching football, I guess. Cause like the past couple of years, obviously with the Seahawks not being in the Super Bowl since 2014. Obviously I ain't been watching really for football. You know, if a well-known person was on the halftime show, I'm tuning into that. This year's Bad Bunny. And it all little key sucks now that I think about it. That when we do make it to the Super Bowl, I will have absolutely no interest in watching the halftime show simply because it's Bad Bunny. And I mean, I believe Jay-Z and his team are the ones that are over, Super Bowl assignments. They could have done better than this. I mean, I understand it to a certain degree because I believe California, a vast majority of people in California are Hispanic. And I mean, the game's in Santa Clara. So, yeah, I mean, that plays a part in it, but I just think we could have done better. That's no offense to Bad Bunny. I mean, Bad Bunny is very popular and has done numbers. But on the other hand, I don't listen to Bad Bunny, so he's not gonna be doing anything for me. So, yeah. A lot of things are very important in terms of the Super Bowl. Like, this is honestly the perfect time for us to win the Super Bowl because there's no Patrick Mahomes this postseason, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow, no Dak Prescott. The list goes on of great quarterbacks that are not present in this year's postseason. Sam Darnold is, though. And, Sam Darnold is also the first quarterback from the 2018 draft class to reach the Super Bowl. We're talking about a draft class that features Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Two of those guys are NFL MVPs. And Sam Darnold, who was taken number 3 in that draft by the New York Jets, is the first quarterback of that draft class to have reached the Super Bowl. And I think he's going to be, I think the statistic is going to end up furthering itself and saying the first quarterback from that 2018 draft class to also win the Super Bowl. Granted, I mean, I give the Patriots credit for making it this far. And I think the 3 most nauseating in terms of, me personally, the 3 most nauseating fan bases in terms of the NFL are the Dallas Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the New England Patriots. So if you beat any of those 3 teams, to me, that's amazing. And for us, I think that's big to beat, to potentially beat the New England Patriots in a Super Bowl where that is, a place that they're familiar and known for being. This ain't Tom Brady, though. And I will say that's like the only quarterback that has truly ever scared me. Like, of course, we went up against. I've seen us go up against quarterbacks that gave me like cause to pause, but in terms of actually being scared, only Brady's ever scared me. And Drake May is amazing, and he's only gonna get better. I think this is only year 3 for him, but he ain't Tom Brady. I don't think they got enough to really win this game. I would really be shocked if they're gonna have to play, especially Drake May, gonna have to play out of his mind to beat us. Because I mean, looking at it, Seahawks record this season is 5-0 against an AFC opponent. And I think it's gonna turn to 6-0. Like, I heard somebody tell me today, I was like, yeah, I think y'all got it. I didn't think anybody from the AFC was gonna come in and beat y'all in the Super Bowl. Cause I mean, I can say the same thing had it been the Denver Broncos instead of the New England Patriots. I mean, Bo Nix is also great. I don't think he's as great as Drake May, but I still don't think they would have had enough to, you know. But it's not just the Patriots defense that's going to play lights out. The defense is going to also have to sort of play lights out as well if they're even going to have a chance. And I mean, you know, Sam Darnold has, you know, saw ghosts before, so who's to say that the Patriots defense, which is, you know, that is pretty legit, won't be able to make him see ghosts again. Hopefully he doesn't, because this is not the time for him to be doing so. But not to say that, because I've seen him in every possible situation this season. You know, I won't say it's out of the realm of possibility. It's just crazy to think like this is a matchup that we get, you know, 10 years later, because there's so many people that, you know, I'm used to seeing. And like I'm kind of like, it's almost like nostalgia, because like the last time we saw this, like think of the great names that was in this Super Bowl: Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, probably DeMarco Murray was their running back at the time. I don't think Gronk. I don't know if Gronk was in the league yet or not. I want to say he was though. And then, you know, Bill Belichick is obviously on the sideline. And then you talk about us: Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, Jermaine Kearse, Doug Baldwin. Maybe, I don't think Jimmy Graham. Yeah, Jimmy Graham wasn't our tight end yet. I think that was like until like 2018. And then, you know, Malcolm Butler on defense. We got Richard Sherman on defense. It's just such a nostalgic feeling. But nonetheless, you know, this is the new era, and it's the Drake May era, and for us, it's the Sam Darnold era. I'm just so used to Russell Wilson being our leader and our quarterback. And I honestly saw last night, and it was Russell Wilson congratulating Sam Darnold on just, you know, having the chance to complete his comeback story, and it low-key made me a bit sad. Cause it's like, dang, I missed number 3. I missed number 3 in that blue and green. I actually have a shirt that's a Russell Wilson shirt. I actually do not own a Seahawks jersey. I mean, the only one that I have, it's not really a jersey, but it is. When I was like 7, I got a custom jersey made. It was a Seahawks jersey with my last name and the number 7 on the back. I don't know if I chose 7 because I was turning 7, or if it was because at the time Colin Kaepernick was my favorite quarterback. I don't know what the reasoning was, but it had to be one of those two. Nonetheless, yeah, I got the Seahawks winning this thing. I cannot wait until February 8th to see what we go out there and do. It's going to be great. I think, you know, we just have to come in there and be us, you know, just play Seahawks football. Everything should sort of fall. I don't think nobody has to, like, go bananas. I mean, of course you would expect that and want that, being that it's the Super Bowl, but I just don't think in this particular instance that we have to do the absolute most. You know, we just come in there, play our brand of football, and the rest should honestly take care of itself. Yeah, that's gonna be all for me. I gotta try to, because it is currently 20 after 10:20, so I gotta try to get this out before 11:59 so that I can say that, yeah, I got this out on a Monday and I can stay on schedule. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's actually a filler video because I've been experiencing some audio issues lately, and I recorded a baseball video that was centered around would the LA Dodgers end up being the next dynasty, and the audio didn't register, so I had to find something else. And then went to Seahawks and the Patriots both marked their tickets to the Super Bowl. I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. So this is what y'all are getting. Anyways, I appreciate y'all for watching. I always remember, don't underestimate, appreciate. Go.